we're going to go in creating and working with Ramp2 Corridor. So we're going to begin by opening the corridors file in our J5P0555 folder. And we're going to take a look at creating the corridor, and to do that we have to make sure we have the correct ITL. So in the corridor modeling tools on the left under tasks, we're going to go to the create template tool. And that's going to open up our create template dialog, and we're going to make sure we have the right ITL. So we'll go to file open and open up our J5P0555.itl. We just need to make sure we have a Ramp2 and a Ramp2 no left shoulder, and then we can close that out. And over on the left under the corridor modeling task, we can hit the first tool, corridor modeling, and pick on our Ramp2 alignment and right click, and then we can give it a corridor name of Ramp2. That's going to draw in our corridor. And then for our template, we're going to hit the Alt down arrow on the keyboard, and we're going to go out and expand our folder to our Ramp2 and get our Ramp2 no left shoulder. So it should look like that, where we have Ramp2 no left shoulder, and it shows up on our mouse, and we can accept that. We're going to lock this to the start, so we'll hit the Alt key to lock it to the beginning. Our end station is going to be 2 plus 45.18, and we'll accept that. Enter that in, accept that on the screen at that location. And then our drop intervals are going to be every foot through there. So we're going to put in 1 and enter. And then we're just going to accept the rest of the prompts here through description. And we should get a short corridor for the first part of our ramp. Next thing we need to do is add the rest of the Ramp2 templates. So we're going to go to the corridor grips, get the hammer, and our create template drop. And in here we're going to make that station 2 plus 45.19 for the start. In the end, we're just going to put it 15 plus 00. Our drop interval can be a little bit larger here, so we're going to go ahead and make that 10 foot in there. And then our triple dots on our template, we're going to use Ramp2 instead of the one without the shoulder. So it should say Ramp2 in there. We can accept that and then accept all of the rest of the prompts all the way through description, and we should get our corridor. Okay, so now we have a full corridor with 2 different types of templates in that one. Let's hit F6, and that will show the 3D display out there. So now we've got 2 views. So I'm just going to drag these windows around a little bit to where I can see my gore area and my ramp and where they connect up between Route 50 and Ramp 2. I'm going to highlight window 1, make sure view 1 is active. So I'm going to left click inside that view. And I'm going to go out here and I'm going to highlight Route 50 corridor. And we're going to add a corridor reference, clipping reference at the very bottom there. So we're going to add the clipping reference of Ramp 2. So we're going to pick Ramp 2. And then we're going to right click, and what that's going to do is it's going to, anything we do from here on, it's going to clip out that Route 50 using the Ramp 2 corridor. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to reference in the Superelevation file. So we're going to go Tools, Attach in the reference dialog, and we're going to scroll down and find that Superelevation file. And we're going to attach it. Okay, then you can see the Superelevation in view 1 there. We're going to left click on one of the grips for Ramp 2 so that we can apply that Superelevation, and we'll get the hammer tool. And the very last tool in there is the assign Superelevation. And it says locate the Superelevation section. That's the line that goes around the farthest reaches. And once we accept that in there, we'll see that we've got our Superelevation. Now our Superelevation needs to have a priority of 2 so that any other point controls that we do in this area will override the Superelevation, because we're going to want to extend some of the pavement and so forth through that area, and right there. So we need to have a priority of 2. So then we're going to go back into the Superelevation, and we're just going to turn it off in the references so that we don't see it out there on our screen. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and highlight our Ramp2 corridor, and we're going to go add a point control. So under the hammer, we're going to get the point control tool. We're going to come out and we're going to set a point control that goes from 0 plus 0, 0 on Ramp2 to a stop station of 2 plus 12.42. So between those two stations, we're going to do a point control. And our point control description, we'll go ahead and add one of those in there. Draw to mainline EOP. So I want my ramp to draw out and connect up or touch to that. And so our mode then, we're going to do both. We're going to control vertical and horizontal. We're going to control it based on a corridor feature. Okay. Our point that we're trying to control, if we scroll down through here, we're looking for that left concrete T EOP. That's the one we're going to control. Our corridor is going to be Route 50. And then our reference feature is going to be the right concrete T EOP 2 of Route 50. Okay, so we have a priority of 1. Everything else looks good. So we'll come out on the screen and accept all of the things that we filled out in the dialog box. So we're just left clicking out here to accept all of these. And once we're done, it will create that point control. And it kind of looks like it worked in most of it. There's a little section up here. You can kind of see it didn't like the very beginning up there. So we can fix that. We're going to go into the Ramp2 bucket tool. So we go to the hammer and the bucket, the corridor objects for Ramp2, and we'll take a look at that point control, that draw to mainline EOP. We can see that it started at 0 like we told it to, but a lot of times starting it at 0 will cause this effect that's happening. So we're going to make it 0 plus 0, 1 for our start station. And when we pull it off there just a little bit, you can see that it will fix that area. Okay, and then it goes all the way down to the gore point. So that fixes that area up pretty nicely. And you can see that station matches there. That's that location. So we're going to go into the Ramp2 hammer tool, and we're going to add another point control. And this one's going to start at 2 plus 12.44. It's just a little bit past that nose that we have. And then our stop station, we're going to make it 2 plus 45.18. So just that little area right in there where we've got arrows pointing to it. And we're going to control the shoulder in this spot. So we're going to draw to mainline edge of shoulder. So that's what we're going to control with this point control. We're going to be doing both again. Okay, so we'll accept that. We're doing another corridor feature, so we'll accept that. Okay, we'll accept that we're going to be controlling that left concrete TEOP, and then it wants to know the corridor. So I'm going to actually select it off the screen, Route 50 corridor. So we'll pick the Route 50, and then the reference feature that we're going to control is going to be this right asphalt surface. This is the one that we're going to try and connect up to, the right asphalt surface, TOEOS1. Okay, then we can accept all the way through there, and it will create that point control. And we still have a little area right there, a little triangle area that it didn't know what to do with, and that's basically because we have shoulder that's coming out at 90 degrees right there, and it doesn't know how to handle that. So we're going to go into Ramp2, look at the bucket tool underneath the hammer, and we're going to look at those point controls again, and there's the edge of shoulder one, and it looks like the stationing worked out well for us. If it didn't, we'd have to change that there. Sometimes that will not hold. So we'll come back out on the screen now, and you can see the triangle area that's messed up, and that's the area I was talking about, the kind of comes off 90 degrees right there with the shoulder underneath of there. And so what we want to do is kind of control that shoulder so it will close that gap. So we're going to modify the template for Route 50. So if you can find the purple dashed line, we're going to open up the template and we're going to make some modifications to that right side. So we're going to zoom in to the far right side at that shoulder point, and we're going to double click on that shoulder point, and we are going to take a look at how that's constructed. You see the horizontal side? Right now there is a shoulder parametric constraint down there. We're going to put right underscore outside in front of that. Okay, so how this is all put together, the point constraints, they're the very lowest. So if there's no point controls or parametric constraints or feature constraints, it's going to go with what you type in the box. Then there's parametric constraints, which is what we just typed in. So we can control different things like a slope. If we set a slope at 2% and we need it to be 4, we can make the change without a new template. A feature constraint is what we did when we're trying to connect up to an edge of pavement line that we have drawn out there. It'll go seek it. And then the highest one is a point control. It will override everything that we have in there. And that's kind of what we've done in here. These are point controls. And so these point controls will override everything. What we're going to do here is we're going to go back into the Route 50 corridor, and we're going to add a parametric constraint to control that shoulder that we have out there. So to start, we're going to have our start at 453 plus 40. Okay, we're going to accept that, and then the end point there, we're going to be at 453 plus 70. And we can go out there on the screen and accept that location. And basically we're going to go in here and look for that right outside shoulder that we changed the label in the horizontal point constraint. And right now it's a 4-foot shoulder. We're just going to take that shoulder out at that location. So for that 30 feet, we're going to remove it. So we'll go out and accept that on the screen, and you'll notice that on that right window in the 3D window, it will heal that because it no longer has the shoulder in that area to contend with. Okay, it's basically been removed for that 30 feet. So that's kind of how a parametric constraint can work for you. Okay, then we need to go in and add this line. There's a line out there that we want to add to the corridor to get that edge of pavement to go out and seek that line. So to do that, we're going to go to the grip on Ramp 2, and we've got the 4th tool in, add corridor reference, which is the top one. And we're going to add that line that extends right there at the ramp gore, and then we'll just right click after we've added it, and it will go out and extend that out and move that out. Okay, so right there, it's jumped out to that new line where it sees it. Okay, we've got some more areas that we need to fix here, so we're going to do target aliasing. It's a little target tool over there. And inside of here for Ramp 2, we're just going to add both the corridor for Route 50 and the terrain model to both of those, and that will kind of help heal that process as well. So starting to look a little bit better in that area. Then we're going to go out and modify the template drop for the final portion of it. So find the template drop for just Ramp 2, and we're going to go out here to the left hand side. We're going to double click on this left asphalt surface BWP and go down here and add a label called pavement and aggregate edge slope. So in the label, type that in and click apply and close. Now you can double click on the left asphalt base BWP, and in the pull down list you should have the pavement and aggregate edge slope label. So you can choose that, apply, and close, and then click OK. Okay, so now we have a parametric constraint. We can control how that side looks. So we'll go back to the corridor grip and go to the hammer tool, and we're going to add in a parametric constraint again. This time we're going to go from a start station of 2 plus 43 and hit enter on that. And we're going to go down to a stop station of 2 plus 72 and enter that. And we'll accept those. And then our constraint level is going to be that one we just added to those sides, the pavement and aggregate edge slope. And we've got a start value of 100%. We're going to make that 1,000% on both the start and the stop. And we'll just accept that. Okay. All right. Then we're going to go back in and modify that template one more time for the ramp 2. And we're going to change that width there on the left side for the edge of pavement. We're going to change that to 18 feet. So we just double clicked on the edge of pavement, made it 18 feet in the horizontal, and now it jumps it out there at 18 feet. Okay, we're going to drop in a couple of key stations here. So however you want to do the key stations on the left, or get the corridor grip and do key stations under the hammer tool. We're doing 2 plus 45.17. We're going to add one there. Okay. Then we're going to do the hammer tool and take a look at that key station we just did under the bucket tool and just make sure that it put the right station in there for the key station, which it did. 2 plus 45.17 is in there. Okay, look at the point controls and make sure that those are in the correct spot. 2 plus 12.44, 2 plus 45.18. Okay, I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to change this last number. You kind of see in the 3D window it still doesn't heal up quite right. So I'm going to change that last end station to 2 plus 45.20. And when you do that, it moves it just away from there just enough to heal that section. Okay, so all we did was just make that little change, and now we've got that placed in there. And it looks pretty good.